Again,
So
ideas in themselves are not aggression.
So you're saying Charles
stance.
Manson is not an aggressor. He should not be.
If you show me a victim of his own actions,
he brainwashed these young women into. He was a cult
leader. Did they have no choice? Did he coerce them?
They had a choice to join the cult. They had a choice to continue in the cult. But and I don't know what techniques he used exactly. I haven't done that much research into it. But he had these women under his spell, basically, as I understand it. I mean, they did as they were told. So at that point, they're his tools, aren't they?
Well, if they're willing to be used as tools for violence, then they always have the choice to walk away. You have to respect
but that doesn't exonerate
choice.
Charles Manson from his choice to instruct these women who he knew were going to hang on his every word to do certain things.
Right. His reputation should be tarnished, and he should be seen as a terrible person for doing this, but there should be no active...
So he should... Hold on. So let's change worlds here for a quick moment. Obviously, we're in the world where people get punished by going to a prison cell, and I tend to believe that people shouldn't go to prison cells unless they're actually dangerous to society and they're not repentant or whatever.
I think Charles Manson's dangerous to society.
He is dangerous, and he's not repentant either. But all that aside, let's say we're in a different world, a more liberty-minded world where people are actually given restitution for violent crimes that happen to them, because Charles Manson hasn't paid a dime of restitution to the families of the victims in this case. But would you say that in your ideal world, or in a world in which people do pay restitution who commit crimes, that Manson would have to pay some restitution to these families?
I mean, I'm not familiar enough with his actions and what he did. He
told women to kill other human beings.
Well, the women that were committing the acts of aggression should be held in
Charles Manson gets off with a total pass. If
no,
you're
not
able,
a total pass. He should.
So
I mean, if
he'll be
it gets
ostracized, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he'll be ostracized from the community that I'm going to live in.
But no actual financial consequences for him beyond ostracism, no time in a jail cell, because he's not repentant. He could very well go out and find some more easily manipulable people and brainwash them into his cult and start killing people again. That doesn't disturb you?
I mean, I don't think that if spreading ideas is brainwash, then you don't sound like you're really into freedom of speech. I mean,
I'm all about freedom of speech. I just
know you are.
I just think that I think some speech can have consequences.
If he's coercing people into killing other people, then he's coerced people.
Coercion. I mean, obviously we know what coercion means. It's the application of force. But brainwashing isn't necessarily coercion. It's just very effective persuasion.
I think that these ideas, Allie, and I understand you're taking an extraordinarily principled stance, but I think
I'm
that
a radical.
She's hardcore.
So far from mainstream as to be useless. That's what I think. That's what I'm saying.
If people started holding the actual aggressors accountable, then I don't think we would have tyranny. I don't think we'd have the system we have now.
If people's flatulence came out at a fast enough rate, they could power themselves through the air via
Let's
their
talk
own
to Matthew,
Oh, come on,
listening in California or Connecticut or something. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I was just going to comment on this question that Allie posed, and I agree with the fact that there should be no penalty for anyone who hasn't committed violence themselves, like hasn't been, the actual aggressor. But I do also think that the other sort of question was who is at fault, and I don't think just because we shouldn't be able to punish them by law or whatever if they haven't committed actual aggression. I don't think that doesn't mean that they aren't guilty in some abstract way. One argument I came across the other day was that in statism, basically the citizenry is sort of like psychologically traumatized, and so the question is who is where is the root of this trauma? And I do think that these lawmakers are sort of at the root of it, whereas then next would be the law enforcers, and then after that is the complacent citizenry. So I don't think that we can punish someone who hasn't actually inflicted violence physically, but that doesn't mean these traumatizers are off of the hook, I guess.
Well, it sounds like they're off the hook. I mean, for the most part. Ostracism, I know, obviously we'd like to live in a society in which ostracism is very effective and it really, pushes people out of a society and makes them want to behave correctly. And I think generally that we have that happening today to some extent. I mean, people do want to behave well to satisfy their friends and their family members and all that. But to suggest that the military captain who gave orders to gas Jews should not be held responsible for that, to suggest that Charles Manson should not be held responsible for for what his followers did, I think that's socially irresponsible.
I mean,
yeah, I guess. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say
these are antisocial people who are menaces to society, in my opinion.
Their followers always have the option to walk away. They're free to walk away.
I get what you're saying. Thank you, Matthew, for the call. But that doesn't take away the responsibility from the person who has realized that these followers are following him and will likely do as they're told, will be his hands, will be his eyes, will be his proxies, and allow him to escape any significant consequences. I think that's a problem.
Prosecuting people for ideas is dangerous.
See you tomorrow night.